We are back. It's time for our final series here of the evening. We have the Shanghai Dragons getting ready to go up against Sin Prisa Gaming. Let's see who is going to be moving forward in this lower bracket, and whether or not the Shanghai Dragons are going to have a better time of it here moving forward. We'll have to just wait and see. For Sin Prisa, though, it's everything to play for if they want to stay in this one, and I'm going to turn my lights on. There we go.
Because it is nighttime where you are.
Indeed.
And honestly, yeah, this is uncomfortable for the Dragons because they've already lost to Sin Prisa. This is a rematch. This is what people have to remind themselves of. But I guess the good news, if you can call it that, is that Dragons were pretty unconventional in their first show versus Sin Prisa Gaming, given that it honestly looked like Dragons didn't read the patch notes. They were just playing Winston Dive the whole time. A little bit of Doom. So I asked a little bit earlier, and I said, we haven't really seen that much Doom. I guess we have, because Fate played Doom, like, unironically. And that's fine, except, well, now that we're deeper in the meta, it's probably a little bit less fine. I think generally, Shanghai still relying on Dive like it was the old meta is just a weird look when everybody else moved on to the Orissas, the Jungle Queens, just about everything else. They've had that time now to look at their comps again, see what they can improve, and well, the answer is a damn hell of a lot that they certainly can improve.
Yeah, I will have to see how they fare coming into this one. Whether or not they can get that win, because I mean, again, for them, it's a little bit less pressure. They're not going to be facing that elimination. You still want to be able to get that win, at the very least, instill some faith, because there's still those Shanghai faithful out there watching, waiting for this team to re-hit its stride, to find its form. There was that hope when Fate came back into the roster, when they were able to replace the Fleta tank situation that we had at the beginning of the year. Still hasn't fully come together. There have still been those struggles, but much like for this whole dynasty, like we just saw, this could be that first step forward. This could be that moment to go ahead and prove, like, yes, we can play here in this meta. We can be dominant. We'll have to just wait and see, though, as Sin Prisa is going to be looking to take them down.
Sin Prisa have a very unique read on the meta as well. Look, for all of the criticism against the Shanghai Dragons, saying like, what on earth is Fate still doing on a Winston? Honestly, if I was going to be fair and objective here, I really should criticize Sin Prisa as well, but the difference is they've actually won with their wear picks. Milgaru has been hard forcing ball. We did see some ball today with Gaga playing it. Not the best look, unfortunately. You go up against Void, and well, Cell Dynasty just know how to play around that ball. But for Milgaru, it's weird that he will go to ball and it will somehow work. And it's hard to explain. He even did it versus Soul Inferno, so it's not just like, oh, well, maybe Shanghai are not very good and they just don't know how to play against ball. No, they won Survasa versus Infernal when Milgaru decided, heck it, we ball. We start balling, he balls, and they win the map versus Infernal. Probably the best team in the region currently, unless you're really looking at Fuel or Spark. We'll say they're comfortably top 3. So yeah, this ball from Milgaru is no joke, honestly.
Somebody had to take up the reins. It's been a long time since we got to see Among playing, so somebody's got to fill that slot of just being the ball god of the league, or at least of the APAC region. So if he wants to be the one taking up that mantle, filling those shoes, then more power to him, because it's always entertaining to watch. At least for me. I'm sure there's people who disagree, but
look,
those people can shut up.
Here's the comp. It blows my mind. Like, what is a Bapalari ball comp with the Torb? I guess the Trace is thrown in there to help the ball out. But strangely, this comp worked, and the one that Shanghai ran, which you can see above, that comp did not work. And actually, I think it doesn't require too much to change. I mean, you just swap Fate onto a Junker Queen or an Orisa. Probably a little bit more favored on the Orisa, given that we haven't seen much of Fate on the Junker Queen when Junker Queen was last relevant for Fate. Void was playing because they were both on Shanghai at the time. Double flex support should honestly be a good look for Shanghai. I mean, look, this is what the team's built. It's Gangnam Generis. I mean, that you should be extremely well suited double flex support here. I would imagine an Orisa double flex support Alari Bap comp should be prime real estate for the Shanghai Dragons, and I'm surprised they didn't already run that. But it allows you now in this week, in this particular rematch, to say Shanghai certainly have another level that they can go towards, and it's up to them to deliver that now.
It certainly is. I mean, how many times can this work? You know, you pull out the ball comp every now and then, you catch teams off guard, but once you played against it, once you've seen it been played multiple times from Sin Prisa, do you start to get a read and really break down how to counteract it? That's what we're looking to see here for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, whether they can get it done. And for the side of Sin Prisa, it's whether or not they continue to run it and if they can continue to find value. Antarctic Peninsula, though, is going to be our first map control to start things off. And then from there, it's going to be loser selection. So we'll see who that's going to be, where they're going to take us. So we'll have hybrid, then into Flashpoint, so on and so forth. So far, it's been 3-1, 3-0 Overwatch here today. Can this one go to distance to round out the night? We'll have to just see.
And Sin Prisa actually played this map versus Shanghai in their last meeting, which I believe that was a 2-1 for Sin Prisa. Yeah, it was. And yes, they did run the ball. They did run the ball, and the one round they lost, if I just check the historical records briefly, was
just pulling through the pages.
I believe it was Labs that Shanghai won. And on Labs, they also ran the ball. But anyway,
well, there you go.
Shanghai, what are we doing? Icebreaker first? Okay, Shanghai did play the Rhine comp on Icebreaker before. SPG is just wasting no time. They know exactly where their bread is buttered. It's straight on the wrecking ball.
Straight onto the wrecking ball. Looks like the Bastion Sim, at least for now, to back it up. Then all those just going to be swapping over to the Tracer, have that backline pressure. Meanwhile, Hisu just going to be sticking through here with this Sim as Fate. Ready to go full brawl with the Reinhardt with the ball. Bringing around the back, denied. Nice little poop there, but still get some value off the pile driver. Drops in. Bit of damage to claws, but so far no kills going to be found. No HP bar is taken low at all. The neutral fight will continue. Either way here, Shanghai Dragons occupying the point for the time being, as it is now going to be unlocked. A crash through there from Milgaru. A brief little tag, popping that shield, but takes a lot of damage. Has to pay respect there to that Bastion on the opposite side. Viper reaching out ahead there of 8, drilling up to about 50% towards that artillery.
And Viper just needs to kind of hold the tank form for when the ball rolls through, but at the moment, SPG, they got good health, they got a lot of health, and this is where they can strike. Ares pops the window, but Dragons is already basically out of this fight. Dragons went off the point as well. They went really far away.
Fighting off the side and end up getting punished for it. Crash across there from Milgar, able to find Ares. As the Matrix committed, now rolling through once again. Pile driver going to be denied, but the Nine Field's going to be built up. And Hisu, isolated, focused down, all the diving forward, managing to find that one. Now Fate going to be taken down on the back end as well. Fight very handedly going their way as Gangnam Jin is going to be unable to escape. Very swift and clean cleanup coming through here, I should say, for the side of Sin Prisa. They will take the lead.
And the early game is fine from Dragons. They get the cap first. They push away the ball of Milgaru at 18%. Shanghai Dragons, as soon as they go for the chase on the side of the map, SPG find their moment to strike, and they all collapse on top of Dragons, despite the window being dropped in. They're dropping in. It's going to be the minefield. No one gets caught and slammed, though. The Dragons escape the mines.
Does force them off to an opposite angle, so that's exactly where they're going to be coming through. Plat, the pin, managing to find Milgaru, and that's going to be the finish there from Ares, taking him down. Still, and Matrix committed into the fight. Pulse bomb out, not going to be finding an elimination. Artillery on the opposite side, going to be burned, but Viper got on top of 8 to go ahead and take him down. Kills going to be found on either side, but it's still looking like it might just be a trade up here in the long run, as Ares taken low. Doesn't manage to survive, at least for the time being. Wutan just committing in with that Kitsune rush helps keep them in this fight. They maintain control, as Wutan just going to be gunning down 2.
I think it was 3 in that particular fight. I mean, there was a lot of frags, nonetheless, even with Milgaru gone. The extra players on SPG that survive are able to get the cleanup on the Dragons, and we're not quite on last point yet. I mean, I'm kind of flashpoint pilled at this rate. Like 75, that's last fight. No, but we've still got a couple left. Just one left, really. Dragons still got ultimates. Fate should have been free shatter here.
His target is going to be Milgaru. Potential one, but can be difficult to pound down. Hisu, in the meantime, will find Wuchen, so already support's going to be taken out of the fray. There's
free cap.
Holding on, but yeah, free cap is just going to be gained. There's the pin, there's the kill. They take it down. Viper sealing away the final blow. It's going to be Shanghai Dragons finding some stability, as Milgaru will end up being feasted upon there. Viper making quick work of him.
It's a cheap fight. It's exactly what you want for Dragons. Now you get to sort of play the point, defensively use that Matrix and Shatter. Again, it's a free Shatter that I suppose Wuchen can come and save. If it's a solo Shatter to Milgaru, Wuchen should just be able to come in, Suzu, save Milgaru's life. But beyond that, if there's multiple players shattered, can't save everybody. So Dragons now come back in effect.
attempt there at that pulse bomb. Although, after he does let it go, doesn't come up with too much of anything. Minefield's going to be opened up. Garu looking for the setup here, looking for some picks. Fate double down quite low, takes the TP across the opposite side of the map, says that's not where I want to be. It has the TP right back to the opposite side. Kills coming through steadily to try to get him alive. The sound barrier not quite there from Gangnam Jin just yet. Now has it online. See when he needs to commit it into this fight. Garu diving forward, gets the knock up. Viper going to be taken down. A trade out on the Bastion for the time being. Fire strike across. Jin going to be taken out, and that's right as that Amp Matrix comes into play for him. Flip back into their favor once again. Shanghai Dragons moving up, getting ready to crest 80%.
Yeah, I mean, that kill into Hyunjae was huge because then no one gets to use the Amp Matrix at all. Everyone was pretty way out of position from the Amp Matrix at least. As Dragons will be able to equalize this 94. And again, we're still holding on to a decent amount of ultimates here, for better or worse. I mean, I guess in this case, definitely better because we're about to overtake SPG trying to catch up on these ultimates. Shadow? I think the Shadow missed.
Yeah, it doesn't find anybody. Pin as well, not going to come up with a pick. Pops the recall, takes himself out to safety. Sound barrier now going to be used from Gangnam Jin. Viper still going to be taken down about half HP. The bouncing nade managing to find the enemy tracer, although eliminated before that pulse bomb can come into play. Fate going to be taking a nap. Wuchan down low on HP. Still elects to go ahead and wake up the Reinhardt as Fate is just backpedaling into the corner and eventually will fall down. That Bastion pressure helping them out, but no one can make their way to the point to extend the overtime. Even Milgar somehow far too late. And it looks like with the setup that they have with Fate dead, that very well could have been a flip on the round for Sin Prisa, but they let it slip through their fingers.
I think that was Sin Prisa's round for sure. But they didn't communicate who was meant to go for. That's a legit C9 because I think they were winning that fight. They had 5 alive. They have fast characters that could actually go for a touch, but failed to communicate how that was going to come down. And, you know, sure, you want to chase down Fate. That's great. You got that kill. But someone's got to take care of the important part of that map, which was to make sure that you save the point itself. As we see, I can't even remember which fight this was, but
it's a while ago.
Running it through.
Just ripping them to shreds in that one. And Shanghai Dragons breathing a sigh of relief as they do start things off with that point win.
And I will breathe a sigh of relief because last time Fate played Winston, he's only written out.
And seemingly learning from his mistakes last time out. Onto the Orisa. Not coming through. Oh, up into the air. The mid-air pin there on the 8 takes him out, and Fade just works him down to just bits and pieces. Nuts and bolts lay there on the floor, but the turnaround from the side of Sin Prisa is looking quite strong. They find themselves a couple of picks, and now themselves occupied on the point. Fate is tiptoeing on the edge, trying to get this one in contention, and actually be able to take this one away. Damn near the cap here for themselves. Milgar down below half HP. They try to keep him alive. It's just both tanks working on the edge of death. The cap eventually comes in. Shanghai Dragons establishing first control.
Somebody heal Fate, please. He's low on HP and he needs to get up. They still have the cap underway as SPG will fail to be able to continue fighting in. Another slam, and it's going to give good damage from Milgar to build up the minefield and nothing else. But SPG need kills. They need to have some sort of kill pressure. Get Lamps gone. That'll help.
Pulse bomb. Yeah, just a smattering of damage here for the sound barrier shielding. Makes it completely negligible. 2 kills going to be found very quickly here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons in the back end. Although, able to trade one out. Sears will fall. That's a far cry away from getting the flip that they so desperately wanted right there in that moment. So ult's going to be committed, but nothing going to be found.
Trying to the high ground now. I mean, flexible combat, at least as far as mobility goes, because they can TP anywhere they want. And now the ultimate's starting to come online. Photon barrier has been really big for Shanghai Dragons and really any team that runs Sim. As SPG now, artillery will dislodge some players, but this map is pretty open.
Any eliminations, it would seem. Mortality killed was forced out at the very least. They get that. Now Amp Matrix here on the high ground. Gunjay is looking for a target. Finds Hisu right before he can get to the opposite side of that photon barrier, which is now since restated. Gangnam Jin as well going to be eliminated. 2 solid pickups here for the side of Sin Prisa, but they still need to get this flip into their favor, and they need to do it quickly. We'll finally be able to find it. 65% established for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, with a couple ults to still work through.
It's a good lead, very fantastic lead, and because they still have extra ultimates, they have ability to enter. Artillery here probably isn't going to do too, well, usually doesn't, but definitely not going to do too much here, as SPG are not a team that will stack a certain position that you can force off. SPG, if anything, they should be playing aggressive here, trying to lock up the choke points the Dragons want to push through. Nagara is setting up for the slam. I give although the alley-oop as well to get a nice clean pulse bomb. Or just that. That's fine.
Yeah, there, kill going to be found. Pulse bomb not necessary there in that one. Still holds on to it, and there's still a big cluster of players around the corner. Shanghai Dragons just playing back for the time being. Giving away a bit of space as well as percentage here. 40% already set up for Sin Prisa. Lead not too far off.
That's what you need. You need a tracer to follow. You need somebody to follow up when a slam happens and a power drive goes in. Somebody's got to get that kill on a player that gets lifted in the air, knocked up. Minefield, big.
Artillery is out, but while he was popping it, although got on top of the Bastion, the pulse bomb in, minefield as well, just completely segregating the members of Shanghai away from one another. Pile driver in, finds both the supports, but Lugaru doesn't want to overcommit, doesn't have the reinforcements here from although to really dive into that back line and find the eliminations, but it does stave off the Shanghai Dragons on this approach back to the point, and that does give some Prisa the lead.
Yeah, Dragons just can't quite reach the point. They can't quite rotate properly because every time they want to rotate out of a choke, they're just getting pile drived into, which is exactly the gameplay that SPG need. They know that Dragons will be stacking as 5. And the pile driver 10. This one's going to be kind of solo, but doesn't catch anybody actually.
It's quick beat work there from Iris, does manage to avoid it. Himself safe for the time being. Immortality killed from Gunjay, going to be burnt. Iris is now going to be exchanged, but look at that. The all out from Fate comes through, pulls in both of the supports and shuts them down. Fate now going to be taken out. It's all on Aldo and Milgar. The last player is standing here versus 3. Jin's still going to be holding on to that sound barrier in his back pocket. They would love to try to force this one out of him, but it seems like an impossibility here given the circumstances. Garu zipping away, barely manages to escape with his life. All those just delaying on the point, not allowing for that to come in. But they already have 99% and needs to make sure that it does not go down. They're extending this, however. The rest of the team now rejoining. Artillery strike out from 8, goes up over the top of the pile driver in to try to lock them in position. Sound barrier shielding comes in from Gangnam Jin. Everybody nice and healthy for the time being as Wuchen nearly gets eliminated, but the Kiriko Russian, Tsune Russian, I should say, is now going to be online. Pops that one, but Milgaru already going to be taken out. Viper managed to find that line of sight firm on the ball. Although, Lewis Sliver has to play safe. The flip has been there in the meantime. Shanghai Dragons in control of the point. They're not out of this one yet.
They can't get the cleanup here. Milgaru is the one death, and SPG will be able to get out cleanly. Fate doesn't want to take the risk of diving too deep, which is the correct move to make. Still need some ultimates, so 3 are coming online soon for the Shanghai Dragons, but SPG have kind of lost their edge here. They're a much better team at holding the point and playing, you know, guard and guardian around these choke points with Milgaru's ball, trying to re-enter now. They'll be able to get on the point, no issues, but how do they initiate a dive? How do they initiate an actual fight when Dragons control so much high ground space?
Although taken low, tag in, there's the OT, 99 to 99, massive pile driver coming through now. The minefield is going to be sent in as well. Wuchen, however, going to be taken down. Viper finding that kill now. Adrian's going to be traded out as well. 2 for 0 so far. Hit to the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Viper down to a sliver. Will be finished off to Milgaru, able to come away with that elimination. The pulse bomb from Aldo, however, is going to be going wide. The tank is taken down. It's all on Hyunjae, the last man standing. Wuchen can try to TP back over here, but there's just no way to occupy the point. Shanghai Dragons will close it out. They steal away the first round, but this one they certainly earned. A dominant performance to go ahead and get a 2-0 victory on Antarctic Peninsula.
That's really what we expect out of the Dragons. That's what we want to see out of the Dragons, which is, you know, shift gears towards what is working in the meta so far and what is working for most teams and what should be clearly, obviously, a good comp for the Dragons because, you know, we know that Fate has the main tank chops to go around, play the Orissas, play what he needs to in this particular meta, but Eris on BAP, I mean, that is a godsend. That's like his best hero. He's been traditionally one of the best BAP players that we've ever seen. And then next after this, if Gangnam Jin decides to go on to another flex support, there's more that Dragons can do. Like there's a lot that this team can really bring out on this patch, and we're starting to see that now.
Yeah, strong performance. I mean, one of the other things that I'm hoping that we get at some point here during the series is potentially that Ball of Evolve, because we know that Fate knows how to play that as well. But that might be a bridge too far. We'll have to just wait and see. But for now, that is the Shanghai Dragons starting off with a control win. A map type that has not been kind to them this year. So that is a very good sign for you if you are a Dragons fan. But Sin Prisa now have map pick as we get ready to go into hybrid. And that's going to be happening on the opposite side of this break. One map out of the way, and it's the Shanghai Dragons standing a bit taller here at the start as they get a much-needed win on Control, a map that has plagued them throughout the entire, a map type I should say, has plagued them throughout the entire season. They get the early W locked in. Now they set the stage as we get ready to move forward in this series. Sin Prisa going to be wanting some revenge, especially after that first round where they likely felt like they got robbed.
I would be very curious as to how the final round on Labs would have gone, because to me, if we play the same matchup again, I could very much see the same result again as well, where, you know, it's more Orisa from Fate versus Milgara Ball, and, you know, the Ball is like, it's funny, it's worked a couple times, but as teams work it out, which shouldn't be too hard to work out, yeah, there's a reason why Ball is not widely played in the meta. It's not what gives you the highest percentage win rate, even if you are very good at the ball, which Megaro is. So SPG need to now consider their options, as I don't think they can one-trick this comp for the entire series.
I have to think where they are going to be wanting to go as we get ready to go into this hybrid map pick. Perhaps an Embody, something like that, to try to enable the ball a little bit further if they do want to stick with it. I'll have to just wait and see. Obviously, Blizzard World would be the most ideal, but alas. It's Midtown.
Middletown. As
Middleton.
last time we played Midtown as well. We really are just running back the exact same series again. Like, exactly. But
A gentleman's agreement, perhaps?
last time it was the Fate Winston versus Milgara Orisa, so SPG are ready to play some meta comps now. And likely it's going to be an exact mirror. I don't expect Fate to play any Jungle Queen today. It's not really his hero. I also don't think Dragons are much of a rush team anyway. So their style should be very much double. I want to see the double flex. For real. This is where the Alari and the Bat together needs to come out.
See if they have that ready for us as we get ready to jump into this one. Sin Prisa going to be looking to tie things up, but Dragons want to try to get away with this series as quickly as they possibly can and as cleanly as they possibly can. Definitely breathe a sigh of relief after the opening C9 there on Antarctic Peninsula, but Sin Prisa is going to be looking to tighten things up and make sure that does not happen once more. So it's the second C9 we had today.
I mean, standard affair.
Unfortunately, some things never change. I go away for a month, I come back, and we're still doing the same stuff.
You know what? I'm surprised there are not more C9s on Flashpoint, given how quickly the point ticks up. Like, teams ain't ready, because the point's just gone. Saw one last week. I said the Milgara wasn't going to play ball, but he balling.
We do be balling. A Viper out here on the Torbjorn for the defense. Hisu over onto the Soldier 76. So some very
and the Alari comes in. The double flex that I've dreamed of. I've been a good boy this Christmas. Santa Claus, Shanghai Dragons has delivered.
At least for the time being. We'll see if any picks force them off this composition or if they're just going to be able to stick with it the entire time. Saw some really good impact from that Alari from Krillin in the previous series. Now eyes on Gangnam Jin. See if he can deliver the goods as well. Charge up shots, not really going to be finding too much connection there. Pile driver into Hisu, although pushing forward, trying to capitalize on this one, but now it's going to be forced to recall out. Still going to be somewhat low on HP, so has to back away. But now point not really being touched at all from the side of his Prisa as Viper. He's found although, and he burns him down. Absolutely massacres him as Wuchan now kind of stuck into the back line, spotted, dead. Hisu guns him down, and that's going to have to be a reset.
Yeah, SPG's, it's interesting because they still have most of your poke composition. The real weird hero here is Aid on the Bastion. Like, at this point, I think, why don't they just go trace Soma? Look, I know Soma got nerfed, but if you're going to commit to the ball dive, actually commit to the ball dive. I can somewhat understand the Kirikou Bap here. You want some long-range damage, perhaps. Kirikou can also flank with your ball / tracer and do some weird stuff there. Yonjay can somehow just get Hisu down. That's an interesting pick.
Yeah, right there in the train car. Finds that elimination. Brief stun up there on the Aid from that Javelin out from Fate. Are going to be taking his exit from the high ground, which I'm just going to be TPing up there, try to join in with him, get that healing across, and try to get that Kitsune rush in online. But Iris making use of his own Amp Matrix, managing to come away with a kill, although going to be taken down. Hyunjae down to a sliver. Looks like he will be able to survive. And that is going to be yet another reset here. Half the time bank already going to be drained down. 2 minutes remaining and not a tick in sight.
Alrighty, SPG still have... But this will do some damage. No, it actually won't, because Fate will just walk in the other direction.
Hisu got
Maybe
tagged up.
Wuchan's ultimate can do a little bit more. It's gonna rush straight towards it. Poor Hisu again, he just can't make it across.
Just picked off. This still hasn't delivered any presence on the point quite just yet, but a double up there. Viper can take it down, certainly could. All down from Fate, not going to be able to find too much of anything there. Jin managed to find one, although going to be taken down. 25 remaining, bouncing nade, finds Iris. Cleanup is looking good, and finally SPG can make their way over the point and begin the cap.
It's just so hard. Dragons were not able to really consolidate the damage together. You have Fate and Gangnam Jin trying to work it. And the ultimate from Gangnam Jin, the cap this time, does at least get them one kill. Is there going to be a retake? It looks like Fate's too far away, so I'm going to call no on that one. They're just going to set it for B instead. Smart call. They burned 3 minutes away. I think that's reasonable. 3/4 of the time gone. So, yeah, fairly honestly quite successful A defense. You'll take that if you're Dragons.
Certainly so. Still hold on to that Molten Core. Ults abound here for the side of SPG. Attack visor from Aldo nearly online as well as Gangnam Jin getting taken down. Speaking of Aldo,
Aldo is just getting these kills, man.
It just murks him. I was looking for Iris here on that high ground. Works him down to about half HP. Can't quite confirm the kill. Milgaru trying to escape. He rolls out to safety. Support's just looking to pump him back up. They do hold on to the ult, so not going to be getting any ult charge off of him, but they keep him alive, and that's a crucial part here for the side of SPG. Some of the Wuchan, Javelin, catching him, but follow-up not found, still not coming in. It's now popping that air matrix here onto the high ground. Jay going to be matching with one of his own. I don't think it's where it's at, but Hisu finds him, but not before Viper gets taken down, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 of the DPS here between both teams.
I mean, at least they get the trade this time, because Aldo is getting away with the minute every time. Aldo just finds a kill from somewhere. Now, with Aldo down, it's Wuchan that gets the area, so SPG continue their ability to get these opening frags.
Eventually falling. Buys a little bit of additional time. A minute and 10 going to be taken off that starting time bank here on the push. This is going to be a very messy fight coming up here because you see the ults available on either side. Starting things off, Aiden just popping out with that ult. He catches Gangnam Jin, takes him down. That's the Captain Sun now. Eventually out of the fight, Scar continues to push forward. Should be able to get a reset in time to join in. See what value he's going to be able to find once that comes into play. But Hisu taken down as Magar just gets off onto the flank angle.
Well, Dragons just can't take tiebreaker. They're constantly down one. This has been 5v4s the entire way through. Fate even, I died late here, does get beamed up to full HP from Gangnam Jin. But the cap's going to come in. They're not even in a position to touch. I mean, no one's faster. They're not playing a quick composition. Fate would have to spare spin onto the point and burn a cooldown for it, but he was low just a hot second ago. SPG essentially off the back of random, not even random, but just individual picks time and time and time again. Just whittle down the Dragons' defense. The Dragons sit on 4 ultimates as well.
A lot. They haven't been able to get into a position to utilize them. It's been really good picks coming in from the side of SPG. But speaking of picks, Hisu lines up a headshot, finds Aldo, but now Bait is going to be taken down at the front line. So without that tank, without that Terror Surge threat, Shanghai Dragons are just going to be set to have to try to scatter. Sun going to be invested here from the side of Gangnam Jin, but they do the follow-up damage to try to find these picks, and Mortality Field is invested. Hisu with the overclock will be able to get a headshot, and now the kills start to fly through as Hisu finds his second. Going to be taken down, Aid dead to Viper. John's trying to get himself out of here, does have that
Hisu
teleport over, gets himself out, and Hisu barely manages to escape as well.
I mean, that would be so bad if, like, Hisu does so much good work there, gets a double kill on the overclock, and then just dies. That would be another 5v4. SPG come in with an advantage. So, Dragons, for all the good they do, cannot afford to take 1 step forward and 2 steps back in that situation. Because now SPG want to take many steps forward with the Katsuna Rush.
Katsuna Rush coming to the fire, pushing forward. Aid having just rapid firing, doing what he can as Viper tucks into the corner, trying to just burn out as much before as he can, get into a good position, but he just can't really find too much value as he's getting caught, although takes him down. Answering artillery there from Aid, not finding too much, softens him up just a little bit, and Gangnam Jin going to get picked off in the side room. Taking down the card again, open for a push, a minute and a half remaining. The finish getting ready to be in sight as they come around the second to last corner.
Now, I mean, it's a good amount of push. It's decent for SPG in terms of progress. With enough time left to even lose one fight and come back in, it will just come down to also ult economy, which is pretty decent for SPG at this rate. You can even go for a Flux 9 opportunity if we can get deep enough with the Flux full on board from Milgar, but he's low, very low HP. Lamp has to be burned.
Hopefully they keep him alive. Good damage across, though. There's another javelin connecting there onto Aid. Not too much threat as I say that, though. Takes a big chunk. That Matrix is going to be forced out, just trying to keep him alive. Try to force back players here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Viper nearly knocked down. Here's spotted, although can't confirm the kill, but forces out the lamp. That kill. Rockets across. Hisu falling low, but still willing to take the fight. Wants to desperately get that overclock online as fast as he possibly can. Flux not going to be finding too much of anything. Drops fate down to the ground. The Terror Surge comes in on the back end. Find a kill there either. Captive Sun will be bested from Gangnam Jin. Just trying to keep Fate alive here for the time being, but they're operating a support down, and the throughput is just not going to be enough. Fate ends up falling. Turret, the pylon, going to be taken down. The cart again inching forward. 22 seconds remaining. Gangnam Jin dead. It's just Iris and Hisu. The overclock online, but as he tries to slide in for the contest, he's just a second too late. 19 seconds remaining. SPG, they get to the end of the map.
I think at best Hisu delays the payload for another second or two, as Shanghai Dragons eventually will have to give up that point. That is a cap no matter what. So I don't even think that was going to go to OT. Sin Prisa want to get some time as they just, you know, not quite get initial good value on their ultimates, but Flux comes down, Sin Prisa is still alive, they isolate Fate into the corner. There's no frags coming through from Dragons.
Very nicely done there from Muchan. Just deny that value away. Not get that explosive damage across.
Yep. It's one of the ways to counter the Captain Sun. In fact, many ways for Sin Prisa specifically, when I think the Sigma is fantastic versus the Illari in general. You have both the shield and the kinetic grasp that can counter out the Captain Sun, but just putting up any shields reduces plenty of the poke damage. And then there's a Suzu, and then there's a lamp, and all the different ways that Sin Prisa can overcome the Illari of the Shanghai Dragons. And I'm surprised that Nilgar and Sin Prisa didn't try the Sig early, because you know, it's clear that they can play way more than just the ball. And the Sig versus Orisa matchup's not too bad, especially when you're willing to play your own double flex support, although was somehow just completely destroying Dragons from top to bottom. As soon as this guy went from Tracer to Soldier, he's just picking Dragons every fight.
Yeah, it was just brutal. Now he's going to be coming out with the Bay on this defense. We're just going to be having a seemingly mirrored matchup here between these Orisas. Are opting into that one right off the rip.
Weird. The May says to me they want to get a little aggressive here and play some sort of wall shenanigans to isolate players from the Dragons. It'll be interesting.
Across, the Sim's going to be trying to dodge out at May as much as humanly possible. And they work their way up here onto the high ground. Not much closer to really occupying the point here.
To be fair, Dragons are playing a way brawlier version of the comp. So maybe the May will get some decent value here. So we see the TP behind, the one dropping supports.
And the wall comes up though, just trying to block them off. Although falling low, gets himself into that ice block, stays alive, stun on the follow-up, but still not going to be found. Willing pylon set up there onto the high ground. Javelin into Iris, takes him down, forces out the lamp onto the high ground, which leaves Fate out to dry. No way to try to bail him out, and then Iris is a very easy follow-up. That's the first volley going to be dealt with, the first minute taken away.
Yeah, I mean, the initial aggressive TP, and I say initial, was the TP into the backline on the high ground behind the SPG squad. Hisu's the first one down. Initial punish, 5 versus 4. And the wall actually did some decent work, so, you know, good read by Orr, though. I don't know if he expected Dragons to play the brawlier version of the Orisa comp, but in this quote-unquote mirror, and really what the mirror is the BAP and the Orisa, the May certainly has good value when you know that Dragons want to dive in deep and fall in your face.
Alright, well, second crack at it here with the Matrix instantly coming through. Wall trying to catch somebody off guard, lock him in, but they managed to break through, get themselves out to safety for the time being. Just an exchange on those BAP bolts. Chando nearly with that Captain Stun. Wall coming up, not going to be able to stop them from moving away into the fire department, but they're going to be completely split off. Yeah, they're very segregated here. Fate trying to hold this corner, but down to half HP, getting chunked away at. In the meantime, the back line starts getting cleaned up. Hisu going to be taken down. Now the support's split. Aid finds another one. A second kill for him as Iris dies. Gangnam Jin trying to make his way out, but just cannot escape. And there's just one after the other getting picked apart here of the Shanghai Dragons.
There'll be more. Fate's in next.
This is such extended staggers. This is catastrophic.
I mean, that was a complete disaster for Dragons because half their team got locked out and didn't take the TP. But the half of the team that did take the TP included both supports. So you see Fate get chunked down to nothing, 100 HP. He can't get healed because there's 2 supports from the fire station now. So Fate's been left out to dry. His supports got nothing to do in the fire station. So all 3 of them, +1, 2 supports +1, just get cleaned up. super late death on the Fame. That is about as bad as you could hope for.
TP4 just looking to get up in the 8 space. Photon barrier going to be invested. You know, at the ready, comes across. Gangnamjin's going to be taken down. Looking for the follow-up. Wuchen will be able to find Iris, just sniping him out. Fate now dead, and it's all on Viper, the last man standing. It's falling. They lose out on 2. The respawn's pretty damn close here, and it's less than a minute remaining for the side of the Shanghai Dragons, who do not want to get full health.
I feel like Gangnamjin did have sound barrier there. So, unfortunately, that didn't come out. I think the Dragons should have poured every single ultimate they had into that fight. Because this is one of their last good attempts, as they'll just go for a very fast heat here. Big blade. Could it be good enough?
Terra Surge goes across. Mortality Field to go ahead and mitigate that one. Wuchen going to be cut to pieces. Viper finding them 1. Although Navarro coming away with 1 kill apiece, but for now, it's just going to be 2v3 as the trade-up starts coming in. And oh yeah, the trade-up in a major way. Isu able to find aids, looking for Hyunjae, but Hyunjae wins out in the fight alongside Aldo. The last 2 players standing here for the side of SPG, but they hold the line. They stop the ticks from coming through. Although, to lock them out of this one, has the wall to try and deny. Blink forward, Viper around the backside, gets himself into the fire station, gets the tag. OT going to be forced out. Ant Matrix, however, has to be played through. Countering Ant Matrix now in from Iris just to try to escort them forward. It's expiring. 8.
Good shot.
Staying safe, but yeah, the shot from Hisu managing to find that kill. That's an opener here, where they need to get this cap. Although taken low, taken down. Fateful to find the elimination. Now Milgaro, aid. Everybody falling to the wayside, as which is the last man standing, but not for too long. Ends up getting gunned down. An extended team kill. The overtime cap coming through. Shanghai Dragons, they get an extra 2.5 minutes to try to work with, but they still have to go all the way to the end of the map.
It's Viper and Hisu, man. Viper, who dodges all of the utility being brought to the table by SPG to stop a cap, or stop a rather touch. And Viper manages to engage that touch, and then Hisu on the Sojin, one of his classics, finds the shots required to get the kills to buy Dragons back in. He nearly dies there, and that would have been pretty bad for Dragons' initial start onto B. They'll give themselves a fair chance. So remember, Dragons have to finish the map.
Yep. Have to go the distance, have to get to the end, and even then, that's just for extra innings. But at least, even if it is in overtime, which seems likely given the time bank, then yeah, a chance to play for that win, if not the draw at the end of it all. Blizzard online from Aldo wants to really grind this push down to a halt. Hisu, overclock nearly online. Would love to have that right here, right now. 5% left to go.
Blizzard, the opponent. Unfortunately for SPG, not in the OT just yet, but they might be able to just win this one without using ultimates at all. Just straight frags. It means it's just the one of the Gangnamjin so far, but it's enough to force Dragons all the way back. Can they get a late kill to somebody? Not quite, as Dragons fully concede ground.
He's the engage, he's the bailout.
As long as we get close to the OT, you know, the value of the Blizzard increases.
Yeah. It's looking like we might end up, unless somebody pulls the trigger here soon, with a full-on 5v5 ult fight. But there you go, first one's coming through. On opposite sides, the Ant Matrix is coming to play, and we're going to be taken down as the overclock is layered in. Hisu finds that shot. The cleanup is looking good. Hyunjae dead, Wuchen down low. Although we'll be able to find Viper, but that's the only parting gift here that they're able to find. Little nade set up there for Hisu, trying to slow them on the exit, but they managed to pull back. Space is opened up. Shanghai Dragons resuming the push, but still a decent amount of distance to close out. And SPG, they will be able to recontest.
And that's the important thing, right? Because that was not the important fight for SPG. The important fight for SPG is coming up. I mean, this is going to be basically it, because we're getting towards the OT now, 30 seconds away. This is the one where SPG need to save up ultimates and really bring them out for Dragons, who you want Dragons to spend early because they won't have much late.
So, of course, back off the car, the rush forward getting ready to come through. There's the Terra Surge, there's the ult up from Wuchen, the Captain Sun coming across. Viper going to be taken down, Milgaro going to be traded out as Fate finds the elimination, but now the Blizzard layered in. Aldo goes into the ice block, looks for the cleanup, and they are just completely frozen. The Immortality Field was already dealt with. Aid quickly claiming that one. The cleanup is swift, it is good. That's just going to be Gangnamjin dead on the cart as the OT will bleed away. A dash forward, the blade pulled, but nothing more to be done here from Viper. We'll just stay back, preserve the KD as best as possible. As Sin Prisa will have a successful hold in front of point B and tie us up at 1-1.
It's a good look from Sin Prisa. I mean, the first test, and obviously we all know that Sin Prisa's got more to play through than just the ball. If they were only going to one-trick the ball this entire series, it would be bad news for Sin Prisa Gaming, but they'll test it out early. Okay, Dragons, they've learned, they've studied the ball. Fate obviously knows what the deal with the ball is. Not going to play the ball again here. We're going to go towards more meta stuff. Haven't talked as much about the Sigma, but honestly not bad in the Orisa matchup, and they'll win it both ways. They'll attack with the Sigma and Cap, and they'll defend successfully with the Orisa and Sin Prisa tied up 1-1.
Series on our hands, as we love to say. It's not going to be a 3-0. Could still very well end up being a 3-1, but for whose side, we do not yet know. Shanghai Dragons, however, are going to have map pick. Not a flashpoint coming up next. Got the win initially on control. Can they do it, though, with 5 control points simultaneously? We're going to find out and come back to the break.
Recharging.
And we are tied up at a 1-1. Sin Prisa able to successfully hold the Shanghai Dragons at bay in front of point B there on Midtown. Tie the series. Now have the chance to try and take the lead. Dragons. I
And
love
just
that
when
sign.
Just when it started to look a little bit rough for Sin Prisa, and look, and you get, they show what they're really capable of, and honestly, their quote-unquote meta looks look damn good. So I start to get a little bit worried for the Shanghai Dragons, as that certainly could have gone better for them on Midtown.
Yeah, a sign there from the Sin Prisa fan saying we are going to win today as well. And, well, that's a step in the right direction. Tying things up, not letting the series get away from them. And get a win on their map pick. Now they have to do pretty much the same on Shanghai's if they want to be able to take the lead as we get ready to go into Flashpoint once more.
And last time we went to Flashpoint, played a little bit of Survasa. That obviously went the way of SPG, as it was only a 4-map series, which ended on Esperanza. So, you know, we've had 2 out of the 4 maps we played in the first match between Shanghai and Sin Prisa. Let's see if we can get the full run back or not. But it was a 1-to-1 as well. Yeah, we had the full 1-to-1. Shanghai won Midtown last time. We're getting the opposite. Sin Prisa won Antarctica. Shanghai won Midtown.
Oh.
Today it's the other way around, and today we're going to go to New Junk City as well, not Survasa.
A change up here. New Junk City going to be coming through once again, so in the last series, and I like that. Thank you very much, Shanghai, making it so that I don't have to try to cast a second new map in the same day. Gives me a bit more time to just continue to catch up here.
No new map for you.
One's all we get, but
I mean, oh, you might get it tomorrow. It's funny, in the first week, last week, I exclusively cast the Survivors. Didn't see a single New Junk City. I'm
Well,
deciding to play a little bit of both.
today's the day. They decided to change it up. The flavor of the month, of the week, rather. Getting differentiated. So we'll see, though, if this is going to spell a win for the side of the Dragons. This could have, I could see this very easily being a back and forth series, just winning on their own map pick and going all the way to 5 to really settle it on final map of Escort. We'll have to just wait and see if that is going to be the case, though.
You know what's going to happen on this map?
What's that?
Milgar is going to bring out the ball again. Why? Because he brought out the ball versus Infernal on Survasa, and they actually won.
Okay.
They
Doesn't
also
have
won
the
with the ball on
same
this map versus Shanghai.
doesn't have the same applications on New Junk City. Looks like he seems to think so, as we are going to be seeing it hover here right off the rip. Fate,
Well,
however,
he's
just going to
playing-
be sticking with the Orisa.
He's playing the lore-accurate hero. Is this not the arena that the Wrecking Hall Brawl got its fame from? I don't know. Is that the ball lore?
I don't know. I just remember that he was from, was he on Horizon Lunar Colony
He's
or
from
something
space,
like that? Yeah.
but then he became a junker. That's part of the lore.
Okay. See, that's something that I didn't know, which
He
is
became
rare.
a champion.
All right, well, we'll see if he can do that again. Is Hisu going to find an early kill, although going to be taken down. Big pile driver in there from Nilgard. Just going to be popping the shield. Making his exit. It's a good amount of ult charge there, but still is being hounded down, taken low. Hisu, of course, off the flank. Wanted to really extend forward and try to find some extra value there, but instead we'll just be satisfied to go ahead, pull back, drop down into the arena, and get the cap here for the side of the Dragons.
And now SPG. See how they land these dives, because the problem with this map design on this particular point is even when you land the pile drive, there's not clear sightlines with Yunjie and Wuchen to get the follow-up damage as there are on other maps and other points.
HP there for a brief moment on the Hisu. Immortality field now going to be used, with Viper already going to be taken down, although finding that kill. And Matrix invested, pile driver in on the opposite side of it, trying to pressure Ears off this angle, but she's busy trying to keep everybody alive here for the time being. Not there. SPG really setting foot down into the arena itself, although no pressure into the back line, but recall burned, drops down, dunks in behind the robot, get himself some healing.
Decent boot, but pile drive's going to come in regardless. Might end up forcing the sound barrier. Fate on low HP. You have to be considerate of, and Governor agrees to get although.
Kill. The sound barrier is in. Extra protection here for the side of the Dragons, who are running away with this first point. 87% built up. Multiple ultimates available for the side of SPG, and that's going to be the immortality kill as well. Here, taken down by the artillery. Molgaro swinging through, finds Hisu. The cleanup is swift. As the 2 ultimates committed here from the side of SPG. They get themselves control of the point, but they have to run it all the way up to 100 if they want to take it themselves.
It's a long run back, or rather a short run back, but still 0 to 99. You have the Cats Dragons out on the side, aid with the self-use, the artillery, where you artillery and then you just kind of drop it on top of yourself. Thankful that you don't self-damage anymore. And Air is somehow being caught by that. Air is maybe just too deep. And that's the thing about the lamp as well. You bait yourself into thinking you're safe, but one of the strikes usually kills the lamp.
Photon barrier in, pulse bomb out from Moldo, binds Gangnam Jin. Gonna rush in answer just to help shove them back, and for now they will be able to control this point. Ticking up very rapidly here, 54% already established for the side of SPG.
That's one fight. Dragons have to wait for respawn. No, the respawns are here now, so they're 5 again.
They don't have the ults, so
gonna,
it's still going to be an upward battle.
They'll double ult to just enter. Artillery's not going to find too much, they'll just open the way. Oh my god, how does Hisu die?
I mean, yeah, just finds the immortality field with that one, but Hisu and Viper both going to be taken down. Now Fate dead as well. That's the cleanup, and that's SPG likely taking this point for themselves, and yeah, with Gangnam Jin dead, certainly confirms it. First volley looking very good for the side of the Shanghai Dragons up until it wasn't.
It was a good flank. I mean, that put the pressure on the Dragons, forced Viper to reconsider where his artillery strikes were going to come through from, and then beyond that, Hisu just getting domed by Wu Chan off the top. Head over towards Ducks now. And the other thing that's really interesting about the ball comp is, like we saw in Antarctica, once the ball comp has control of the actual point itself, it's hard for Dragons to recontest because they got to walk through chokes and go at risk of being pile drived every single time.
Their artillery. Can he find value once again? Answer seems like it's going to be yes, because Milgaru is right in there alongside of it. Suit eliminated, although still pressuring on the flanks. Pulse bomb about to be online. It has that, and it's going to be SPG first in the cap this time around.
It already puts the pressure on, and just as I've explained, this is the comfortable position for SPG to be on. Wu Chan comfortable to off angle as he managed to get a pick onto Hisu last time, doing this exact same thing.
Bomb and HP bar's low. Immortality field comes in from Iris. We'll keep them alive at least for the time being. In behind that amp matrix is Aldo, but gets pressured off the angle. Hyunjae and Milgar are both going to be taken down. A big opener now for the side of the Shanghai Dragons to start to work their way forward. Getting Aldo low on HP, just have to back away. And just keeping everybody alive. They will have a Kitsune rush for the re-engage. See Fate looking to get into a forward position. Going on the hunt, trying to see if he can catch anybody.
Much better for Dragons in the trade of the amplification matrices when you have two bastions, you want to trade damage, but Fate on the Orisa can just deny so much of what SPG can do. Milgaru ends up being the one overstaying his welcome, getting destroyed by the double damage tank form. First one back on the point, looking for some application for mines.
Okay, rush comes in. Milgaru's so very low. Pops the shielding, keeps himself alive here. Just play as best as he possibly can to keep himself in this fight, but that photon barrier completely shuts down the assault. Now the push forward. The aggressive fight, they rush their way forward, looking for the kills, and they will be found. They're surge up on Fate and claims aid. 2 quick kills. Looks like we might just be getting tied up 1-1. Enough time to go for a slight little recontest here, perhaps for the side of SPG. It's getting away from them.
And they need Milgaru. Thankfully, it is a quick hero, but you don't get grapple out of spawn anymore, so it's likely that you just set up the next one. Not that you know where it is, because it's all random. Seemingly too late here. Aldo's gonna go for it. No, not anymore. Cost him his life.
Yep,
I think it was too late. Even if Aldo touches, it's like your team is still so far behind, and now you're gonna be behind for the next rotation. You'll rotate with 4. Actually, it's gotta be Dragons there first. So not a good look for SPG, sadly.
No margins, but Dragons do occupy this space first and foremost. Viper, defensive artillery at the ready. Aid's still going to be trying to build his up. Pile driver in with the minefield set up. Not finding anything quite just yet. Mortality field going to be taken down, although finds Gangnam Jin. There's the artillery into the pulse bomb, although Flames too. Playing off of that flank, just hounding down that Bastion. Very wise play from him. Now Fate trying to exit, but he's just completely squeezed in between Aldo and Hyunjae. Kills come in. Nobody lost on the side of SPG. They get this control.
Yeah,
10% ticking up.
And that was the entry that SPG were looking for on the previous point. On Refinery, they'll be able to prevent the early camp from going over to Dragons, as the camp wasn't unlocked yet, using that time to get a pile drive into the minefield. Into Aldo, then cleaning up Viper as well as Aid will try and get tricky with these artillery strikes. Not that we're expecting too much here.
Well, you say that.
Oh my god, the lamp was there too, and Gangnam Jin just... he died before the lamp. Come on.
Sniped out, and Iris taking a half chunk of damage there. It does survive. Bar is still on the hunt.
And they had a TP. They had everything. It's like a lamp, TP, and still Gangnam Jin died. That can't happen. Come on.
anybody playing on the Australian servers, if you happen to encounter Avril and you kill him with that ultimate, make sure to taunt him in game.
Problem is, you won't find me playing.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Aid gonna be taken out. He's hidden. He's got many a name. Can't identify him online. Uchan finding Iris. Damage into the back line. Looks like the SPG gonna be able to stabilize in that regard. 9% locked in. Pulse bomb out from Aldo. Look at the kill, and he's gonna get two. Fate and Hisu both gonna be taken out. Managed to find a third as well. And Aldo very much wanted this point for himself. Scoops 4 at the end of the fight. Monstrous performance from him on the Tracer to go ahead and reestablish a lead for SPG.
I mean, that and the Soldier from earlier as well on Midtown. He's on something today, although doing the most. Nogaro flying onto the point, as you'd expect. Fastest hero here. And, well, you're not going to get capping yet because the point's not open. You can start setting up. I don't even know if he's been spotted. He might have been, but he'll get the early slam on.
Finally do, but oh my god, look at the push through. Just taking him low, and that sets up the kill. And the capitalize finds Iris. Barrier forced out as well as that sound barrier, but this could very well fall apart to the side of Shanghai Dragons, and it looks like it indeed is. Viper going to be taken out as well now. Hisu eliminated. One trade out, Spink managing to find Chunche, but then he himself is gone. The cleanup is swift. It is fierce, and SPG, they desperately want this series lead.
Yep. That was a sick fly through on the ball. Hiding, get a free pile drive into what looks like a full team run through on the grapple. Just a ton of damage, a ton of CC. Boosting his ult charge rate nearly into the next minefield as here comes Dragon on the retake.
Artillery out. Viper no pulse bomb. No access to the back line, and Hisu's dead!
Suzu'd early. Iris used Suzu straight away before the shot even came down.
And now he's dead. Aid cleans up 2 more. Viper and Fate going to be taken down. That's going to be a 4K for him in this fight. And I mean, Aid and Aldo are both just absolutely pounding right now. 63% built up on the point. 3 ults still in the back pocket.
Yeah.
And this is map point.
And that's the other thing as well, is Sin Prisa, they don't waste any time. The artillery strike comes through, but the real utility out of that is that it just gets your divers, especially although deep into territory, while Dragons are trying to survive against the artillery, which somehow they're not doing, and it's just the frags keep coming. This is the last fight.
And that's Hisu dead once again, right off the rip. This time a different explosion taking him down. It's the pulse bomb. Viper inching forward onto the point, forces out the overtime. Nilgaro, however, just looking to make this completely unassailable. Drops down the minefield. Although into the back line, once again looking to deal with Iris to take him down. He's down to about half HP. Terra Surge comes through, but Fate gonna be dead as soon as that spear hits the floor. So does his corpse. Clean up. Kiriko dead, and it's looking very swift indeed. Hisu finally rejoins, but it's far too late. Sin Prisa very dominantly will be able to take them down here on New Junk City, 3-1, and now have a 2-1 lead in the series. Match point is theirs.
And actually, I think this was the performance of the map that I found least surprising, because again, they beat Infernal, one of our top teams in the region, with the ball on Surabasa, on Flashpoint. Surely Shanghai Dragons were not going to be able to put up too much of a fight here. And yeah, they put up some fight. They got Arena, but the other 3 points went all the way to Sin Prisa. Hopefully, though, after this experience, Ares finally learns the timing on how to counter artillery. Lamp needs to be thrown early. Suzu needs to be thrown late.
And not only that, but just trying to learn the tendencies and the positioning here of Nilgaro, because that catch off guard going into the final point is what really set the stage for SPG to just run away with it and not give them access at all. Beautifully done from Nilgaro. We'll see, though, if those adjustments can be made. Get ready to once again go into the map pick with Shanghai Dragons. Pushes on the horizon. See what they elect to take us to. And whether or not they're going to be able to find the win, because they need to. They need to tie this up once more. Try to keep themselves in this lower bracket. Otherwise, Sin Prisa are going to be the ones moving forward and besting the Shanghai Dragons. We're going to go to a quick little break. When we come back, we'll see if it's going to be the conclusion or the extension of the series. We are back, and Sin Prisa is in the driver's seat. 2-1 the series score at the moment after a very dominant win on New Junk City. Now we look to see if they can finish the job that they started, or if the Shanghai Dragons are going to be able to hold out hope, hold on, keep themselves in this one by winning on their map selection of push.
And that map selection is going to be Colosseo, and you know why? It's because it's not a good ball map. You can't play ball in Colosseo unless you're extremely brave, but even then you probably shouldn't. However,
well,
doesn't mean SPG can't win.
Brave.
Doesn't mean they can't win, because they can certainly just go back to Orisa, play some Sigma, all those work. Or I guess you could just be extremely brave and try it out anyway. But last time we went to push for these two teams, it was Esperanza. That went the way of SPG, and yes, Milgaro did play ball.
Well, let's see what the selection is going to be and whether or not Milgaro is going to be going for the bold pick to try to put Shanghai 6 feet under. Because I'll tell you what, right now it's looking like he could get it done. I'm a believer. I'm getting Milgaro pilled at the moment in this young buck. He kind of set the stage for me, saying this guy's an incredible ball player. I was like, yeah, okay, all right, we'll see how he goes. It's going really well.
Like surprisingly well. Like
yes,
it shouldn't go this well, and yet it does. I can't explain it to you. I cannot explain it to you.
He's taking up the mantle of Among. He is following in that man's footsteps, and he's saying, you know what? Somebody needs to be the ball god. I will be the one. No one else wants to take the mantle. I will step up the task. And so far, it's been delivering.
The comps don't even fully make sense. Because when you think about ball comps, you're thinking about Tracer, you're thinking about Sombra, you're thinking about full dive, everybody dive in, and yet it's just him, and although it's him playing the ball, although on a Tracer, and everyone else is like playing a different game of Overwatch. Because they're like on Bastion, they're playing BAP, they're playing Eureka. It's like, huh? On paper, it makes no sense, and yet they win.
I mean, hey, if you don't like the meta, invent your own one. We'll see if it does continue
Rush
forward.
out there. Rush on Dallas out there is like, there ain't no way.
Well, perhaps you can be proven wrong. This would certainly set the stage for it. Make a very strong argument for this to become something that other teams could perhaps look into running.
Very few teams have a good enough ball player. You have Gaga on Charge, and Charge is not in a good spot. And you have Fate on Dragons, who might lose the series twice. Yep. A rematch. Those are your other two good ball players.
I would have loved to have seen the opt-in here. Try to go toe-to-toe. Fate say, you know what? I won a championship rocking this pick. I can take you down, but so far, has wanted to stray away from it.
Yeah, he needs 2021 Flitter Tracer back for that. Maybe a little bit of Lip Sombra too.
I mean, hey, Viper's... I would trust in Viper to be able to get it done, but look at the flash at the moment. Okay, Okay, Milgaro, he's swapping over to the Orisa.
I was going to say he's tempting Fate, but Fate is also in this game. And, yeah, it's going to be a mirror. Double flex support both sides. The Torb is an interesting pick from Viper. Was Viper maybe expecting something more aggressive out of SPG? I don't mind the Torb.
You might be thinking that all that was going to be on the Tracer again.
If Milgaro was going to go ball, the Torb is actually an insanely good pick. But this is still fine. I think this is workable. They lack the one-shot capability of the Sojin, which Hisu... I don't know. I think Viper and Hisu might need to do a swap here so Hisu can play something like the Sojin, but they can't do that yet.
Nope. Going to be 8 on that pick for the time being. Turret spotted. Doesn't really want to overstay his welcome there and trying to clear it out. Backs away as the bot unlocked. Battle can commence.
Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. There's your one shot.
Just get the headshot across. Finds that opening kill, which I'm going to take it down. Pylon dealt with, but that's the only casualty so far on the side of the Shanghai Dragons, as they will begin to push.
Yeah, SPG just have to give that one up. Full retreat. Junjo's going to get the first ult, though. Huge amount of healing damage done. Getting slash damage done on this bat. Although dying Viper again. Oh my goodness.
Okay, man's fine.
You don't need a Sojin. I guess you play Torb and left click somebody down.
Melting through them. Molten Core nearly online. Gangnam Jin way out in front as well with the early death onto Wuchan. Using good pace. There's that Captive Sun, but Javelin out for Milgaro will be able to find Hisu. A bit of pressure alleviated. That Bastion gone. A lot of the damage is taken away. Go ahead and push them forward, but okay. Yeah, it did. It stunned him out of it. He completely stunned him
God.
out of it and set up for the kill. Wuchen immediately came in, cleaned it up. Aid in the meantime finds 2, and this just became an absolute catastrophe.
That was insane from Milgar. By the way, I hate to say this and call out, but I did just witness Gangnam Jin healing a wall. His Fate died. Gangnam Jin was healing the wall. So, not a hero, not a teammate, just the wall. Sad. Milgar though, he fried. That was an insane play. He just completely canceled Gangnam Jin's ultimate. Here comes the ultimate from Hisu. No dice.
Shove them back, but yeah. Tuck not being found. Like Aid maybe eating one little blast there, but he's topped back up immediately. Now holds onto the overclock. Up onto the high ground, goes Wuchen looking to set up with the kill. Sun does come through, but still not going to be found. Instead, it's going to be Hisu. Turn the tides. That Matrix comes in, although immediately evaporated. Overclock committed to the fight here from Aid, but isn't really getting line of sight whatsoever. So Botch is going to be locked into position. For now, the lead still in the hands of the Shanghai Dragons as is bot control.
See what they can do with the next Hyunjae ultimate. The Matrix available again. Bot's doing a little bit of a dance in the spot right now. Gangnam Jin low. There's some frags coming through. It's Dragons that have to walk back. I mean, they're taking more damage at the moment. Hisu's not set up.
Although looking to open things up as peppering that back hallway. Immortality Field going to be forced out. Hisu pop back up now. The Ant Matrix up close and personal here, looking to melt them down, but although is already going to be dead, and that's a lion's share of your damage to try to use with that Ant Matrix. Very good pick found here from the side of the Shanghai Dragons. Continuing to move that bot ever further forward. SPG losing out on the tank. Aid trying to slide out of here, keep himself alive. Can't afford to have any further staggers. But already decent enough space going to be opened up with this push.
Ultimate's on board for Dragons as well. Big opportunity now. They already have the lead. They want to get this cap as well. They are struggling to, I guess, dislodge most of these plays from the high ground. A lot of ultimates coming on through. And there it is, Hisu onto Wuchen. That was also, by the way, the Captain's Son from Gangnam Jin for extra damage in.
Burst him down. Mortality Field not going to be able to help in that regard. Now, checkpoint nearly there, but hey, it's the fun part of the map. Nozar, who's speaking out over the side, gets the contest.
Spare you back.
To try to break through this one, but Aid now going to be finding Hisu. The man advantage going to be there for the side of SPG. Fate using the Terror Surge, only gets the Immortality Field. He's low on HP. Has to try to pull his way back. Passing Aid forward, puts quite a bit of damage here, but still is backpedaling away, but eventually MJ will be able to get him. Still going to be found. Checkpoint not established. 4 ults, nearly 5 in the back pocket here for SPG as they go on the push.
Just a little surprised that Fate didn't use the Terror Surge to pull all the players of SPG off the bridge down a little bit earlier. But yeah, an easy Hyunjae lamp to prevent anyone from SPG dying there, and Shanghai Dragons kind of have to just eat that loss back out, except that they got 15 meters and nearly capped. For another one. SPG trying to close that gap at the moment. Here comes Hyunjae's ultimate.
And out. Matrix denying that line of sight. Hisu playing around it. Nade doesn't bounce onto the high ground like Aldo wanted. Doesn't find that damage. Doesn't threaten him down. Meantime, Gilgaru taken very, very low. Nearly eliminated. He's gonna force out 2 ultimates here, but Wuchen is able to utilize that Captain's Son to help take down Hisu. Aid now on the hunt, swinging around the corner. Puts Viper down to a sliver of HP. Crammed into the corner. Answering all out. Aid just trying to dance around, but eventually will get bursted. But the cost of here some Fate. Big kills here from the side of SPG. Aid gonna have to try to rejoin as quickly as he possibly can. Obviously does not have that forward spawn quite just yet. Artillery from Aldo. There is Surgeon well to be layered through, and Viper caught up in that mortar fire, ends up falling.
The cap is there, although will get it by himself. Dragons in no position to be able to stop that. SPG now firmly in the lead, and they don't even have to fight this if they don't want to. It seems like they will back on out. Cut their losses, don't want to get wiped here. They want to be able to make sure they have full 5 available in the neutral for the concourse fight. As SPG now need to play a lot of defense, although a 6-meter lead is not really enough if they want to win the map. Assuming Dragons can get 1 or 2 good fight wins, they'll definitely get their own cap and flip again.
Yeah, still very narrow margins with just under 4 minutes remaining here between the 2 squads. Hyunjae facing Iris towards that Ant Matrix, now has that one available. The whole DPS ults here for the side of Shanghai Dragons could push through these defenses here as SPG just try to keep the spot locked into a neutral position. Matrix opened up. Hyunjae, however, stunned. I believe that spear got him, and he's right into the molten core. A great setup there. I believe Fate, the one who's really delivering that final blow over to Viper's hands. Either way, a good pick. Now it's just Luchen trying to hold the line here as far as the support's concerned. Still Genji can try to rejoin, but he himself is going to be stunned up, taken down. Fate will find that elimination. Now Milgaru going to be dead. Although, finds Hisu, it's the only casualty coming in. As Gangnam Jin will go ahead and pop that Captain Sun. He's managed to get the kill, and that's going to be escorting the bot back forward. We might just have checkpoint be checkpoint.
They're really trying to secure it. Let's see if anyone can stall from the bridge. Aid's going to make an attempt for it, but he doesn't want to die. Still effective. Okay, he's going to get pulled off by the church. That worked out. Not bad.
Pulled down. Bot, however, still going to be locked into place.
Oh, it's gone.
Captain Sun, yep, taken away. Spin of the spear. Fate noms that one up, and Wuchen gets taken down to the back end. Sun in on the Milgaru, answering artillery. Hisu finds although, and this is a big opportunity now for the Shanghai Dragons to try to take a lead for themselves. Milgaru can only find one before falling. Checkpoint now going to be established.
Now that was so telegraphed. Fate read that like a book. And now we've got an even game for about a second longer as the payload will now start moving again, and lead absolutely confirmed. Dragons take us to map number 5. This is looking like a close series. First escort we've seen in a hot minute if we do actually go that far. Milgaru dropping down is bad positioning. Has to be considered of where he is now. He might have to get bailed out by his own team.
Okay, artillery now just going to be dropped in, straight on top of the robot. Jin knocked down to about a half HP. Immortality field going to be dealt with. Into the overclock popped. Bot getting stolen away. 8 on the flank, and he gets punished for it. Viper with a quick headshot. Takes him down to the rail of his own. Bot not getting too far away from them. Now Gangnam Jin setting out the ult again. Terra Surge in from Milgaru. Finds Iris. Sustain coming through. They try to keep him alive. It looks like Milgaru will be able to hold the line for the time being, but has to back up. Still down to half HP.
Oh my god, that's big.
Oh, gets the spear. Shuts down Viper. What a shot from him. Sends him up the side. That's going to be the team kill coming through. Somehow they hold the line, but they do lose the lead. It's a minute and 25 seconds to try to reestablish it. A difference of about, what, 24 meters they need to try to make up.
Milgaru is absolutely clean. No matter what the result of this is, that is some insane spear accuracy. Cancelled an ultimate a little bit earlier on. Spears Viper off the map this time around. Now they, as you said, they have to try and close the gap. Now 19 meters is fully winnable for the Dragons. This is a good enough lead. With 1 minute left to go, this is looking very good for the Dragons. And they hold on to their positioning though. Ultimate's coming online. Fate's got a good one. As soon as we get into OT, Terra Surge value goes skyrocketing.
Jan kicking down first and foremost. Immortality field burned as well. Clean up there on the pylon. The bot again being pushed back to the starting position. The Viper finds another headshot, although going to be taken out. Hyunjae under fire, trying to retreat, trying to stay alive, and in this fight, has to continue to backpedal, and the healing output isn't looking too great. Milgaru is still very much in danger of getting taken down. Looks around the corner, but then eventually has to give line of sight over to Fate. Very quick to collect the kill. Terra Surge now pulling them forward. Immortality field in response, but it's cleared out swiftly. Greatly done by Viper. Fate finds a double. Viper gets the follow-up. The kills come in. 12 seconds remaining. The bot continues to push.
And you don't even need to push the bot. If you want to make the C9 happen, you actually start pushing right now. However, Dragons, they want the distance. They want to secure a little bit more at the moment. Doom coming through from Milgaru. Final couple of ultimates online for SPG, but A's already down 5v4.
Yeah, he scooped up towards the kill. Now Milgaru trying to rejoin with that Doom Fist swiftly dealt with. Hyunjae the Ant Matrix, it finds no value. They don't need the C9. They take the fight right up into their faces, and they win it out. Gorgeously done. As we are not finished yet. Shanghai Dragons get a win here on their map pick of Colosseo, and you said we haven't seen too much of it lately. We're going to see it here now today. We will have Escort coming up.
Save the best for last. My favorite game mode, and no idea what these teams will pull out for this, as it's a rare game mode now, but a lot of high ground, low ground play. Probably going to see some sim out there. Likely a lot more of the Orisa for Fate. Possibility, actually, of the ball coming back, because it's not a bad pick for an Escort. We don't know which one it will be just yet. Sin Prisa's field, they can choose whatever they like, and that will be to their advantage, because if they do want to play ball, pick the one that best suits ball.
Let's see if that is going to be the case, if that's going to be the game plan, but Shanghai Dragons fighting back, making this a true series and giving us our first 5 mapper here of the day. Still very much up in the air as far as who's going to be walking away victorious. For Sin Prisa, this is keeping the season alive, their year alive. If they lose here, that's it. That's done for Shanghai Dragons, so it keeps them in that lower bracket. Both teams going to be fighting tooth and nail, but we'll see who walks away victorious when we come back. One more map to be played this evening as we find ourselves tied up 2-2 between Sin Prisa and Shanghai Dragons. They get a win on Colosseo to extend this all the way to Escort, a map type that we don't get to see too much of as of late. We get it here, a rare treat, and one that I am fully geared up for.
And you know what? This is our first map 5 in the knockouts, so
Still a Fleta fan here in the audience.
3 O's to 3 1s. It was Fleta's birthday recently, so happy birthday. I think it was yesterday, maybe.
Happy birthday,
so there's
Fleta.
that. So let's see if Fleta can get his birthday win through his team. We'll get it vicariously. I don't know what to expect. I mean, we haven't seen a single map 5 so far in this region, in the knockouts, on this patch. So it's hard to know. I'm doing a bit of guesswork in terms of what might happen on Escort.
I mean, I'm at a loss just as much as you are. I'm talking about, you know, what maps are we going to be seeing as we get ready to come forward into this one. Hard to say, but something that favors the ball perhaps is what we were teeing up before the break. Just go ahead and fully enable Milgar, who has just proven time and time again that this guy is the second coming of Amon.
Tell you what, Circuit Royale would definitely be the wrong pick. I think you don't want to go to a sniper heavy map that favors double flex support as well. That would be Hishu on a Widow plus Gunham, Jin, Eris on double flex support. That would probably not be a good idea for SPG. So
yeah,
we really got left after that. Well, yeah, but Gibraltar, Dorado, 66. No, we do not have Junkertown.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Another Widow heavy map.
It's been a while.
Good for
It is going to be 66.
For the lore, again, good for the lore accuracy, but otherwise, probably not a good matchup. I don't think 8 is as comfortable in the Widowmaker as Hisu is. So Route 66, to me, it was either this or Dorado. If you want to play ball, probably actually more Dorado. 66 is interesting.
Maybe it'll be a departure from our expectations.
I have to imagine you're going to be doing some Arista Bastion stuff right at the front gates. Because even on the previous patch, for some time now on this map, we've seen teams hold up really close.
I mean, I'm thinking back to the old bunker, just off in the side cave right in front of the beginning, have that Arisa barrier back when she had a barrier, as well as the Mei, and just keep that card contested off the rip. Fortunately, those days are behind us here. See if they have anything similar up their sleeve.
I think Milgaru could force the Sigma here. Get another Sigma versus Arista matchup, something that Fate is not going to be able to match it at all. That could be a positive for SPG.
See if that's going to be the direction that they take us in as we get ready to dive into this one. But everything to play for here, again, I mean, for the side of Sin Prisa, this is your year, your season on the line. You want to be able to carry onward, you need to be able to close out this map. Let's see what they do. Manage to push a piece together here at the very end, as Fate is teasing us a bit by showing the ball for a brief moment.
But it's not real. It's not to be. Because you're seeing basically snipers across the board in one fashion or another. And I guess in the hands of Viper, the Torb sniping too. He was hitting some shots on that Torb earlier on for Colosseo. And no surprise on the SPG side, however, I was thinking maybe Milgar would think about the, as mentioned, Sigma, but it's going to be the safer Arista instead. Essentially the same across the board, but Mei instead of the Sergeant.
Alright. Cart brought up here to the initial corner. This is where the hold can begin. 8 getting tagged low, knocked off the high ground as that javelin catches him right in the chest. Milgar just trying to hold forward. Fate as well getting tagged low. Goes for the spin, denying that damage through. Immortality Field going to be forced out as Hisu tries to force his way up here onto the corner. Stuck in place, so Wall cutting off that retreat point. Managed to break through, keep themselves alive for the time being, as Aldo goes on a bit of a forward flank, just swinging around the rocks, trying to get some shots woven through, try to build up before that blizzard as quickly as possible. Wall again getting broken down. Doesn't mean too much when you have that Bastion on the opposite side. Viper thinking about going for the high grounds, pretty slow.
The wall can be easily broken by the Bastion. That has to be under consideration every single time. Fate nearly got caught in front. Okay, it will be Eris down. Milgar finds the frag. That's the 5v4.
Now the Immortality Field dead on the back end. That leaves everybody else very vulnerable, and Milgar will be able to find himself a second elimination. Hisu out in the open, taken down. Javelin not going to connect on the Viper. Heals off onto the flank there. Gangnam Jin trying to keep him alive as they continue to take him low, but he slides up onto the train car and will be able to stay safe for the time being.
The ultimates have just about come online now as well. And actually, as much as we're on the same corner here, all those blizzards are going to have good value. There's no opportunity for Dragons to really spread out and go across the map. They're stuck in the same choke. Pylon position, that's going to do a lot of healing.
There's the artillery.
He did shift.
He's dead. Yeah, right as that blizzard does come through, but Aid hits the god shot. Shuts down two. Viper and Gangnam Jin both taken out, so the early punish onto although does not matter too much. Both the assault's going to be put into the fight there for the side of SPG, but they maintain the corner control. And Fate.
He lives.
Pop the ultimate. He does live. Okay, a desperate bid, but one that allows him to back away with life intact.
Tankiness. He's got, yeah, he gives him a little bit more extra tankiness, so that allows him to survive. I guess you take that.
Artillery now opened up from Hisu, looking to do some damage himself, but the mortality field is there from Hyunjae, and now Fate, he does die. Extended Brawl ends up coming away with the kill. Gangnam Jin up in the sky, trying to set up there with that captive sun, but now I think he might have stranded himself into a bad position. He's up here onto the high ground, sniping Wuchen, does come away with that kill. Milgaru very low, all that healing now very reliant on Kenjay, but he manages to shut him down, force him back, but in a very scattered position here are SPG. They now need to find some stability.
And now, strangely, it's Fate that's going to go towards Sigma. I thought this wasn't going to be here that he is going to be comfortable going towards at all. Maybe he can prove me wrong there. Milgaru will happily tank up that accretion, no issues. But for the next round of ultimates here, Hyunjae massively behind Eris. Good opportunity for a window to come on through, but time is a factor now as well.
Barrier timing blocks that spear from getting the connection there on the Viper, but now has the overclock rolling. Wuchen trying to step for the kills, and that's going to be the first one found as Iris gets taken down. Now Hisu dead on the back end. Aid coming away with that elimination. Viper going down. 40 seconds remaining with Fate having to get killed off, having to get staggered. This could very well be a full hold here from SPG because they nearly have 3 more ults ready to go.
Especially when you look at the Blizzard and OT. I mean, that's just going to be a fight winner, a map winner potentially. If this gets full hold, we're going to see very little of this map. We're going to see very little of our first escort so far in the knockouts. The Dragons need more. They need a lot more. Like, we've seen, funnily enough, Artillery getting some good value previously. Let's see if it happens again. No one's caught on the edges this time, so it's going to be a lot more difficult.
But
as expected.
5 seconds. This Maywall. Can the Maywall deny?
Touch.
Okay, they're pushing forward. They make their way through the cave. Answering Artillery now down here onto the card itself. Into the ice block goes, although he pops out, drops the Blizzard, instantly dealt with. And all up top of the Artillery manages to take him down. 8 health finds Iris. Now Fate going to be dealt with. Members dead on the side here of SPG. Wuchen now eliminated as well. The Captive Sun finds him, but they manage to fight back and get the team kill. A bloody brawl to finish off the push, but SPG stand tall, only surrendering 64 meters. This map is in their pocket.
And yeah, the wall didn't end up coming through because the Artillery opens the door for the Shanghai Dragons to get onto the actual payload. Blizzard didn't end up doing as much as I thought it would. It didn't go on the payload or anything. Tried to play aggressively on top of Fate. The frags were still there. And this was the Artillery from a little bit earlier. As you can see, you got 2 players running on the side. And there's nowhere for them to go. I mean, no mobility left. You can imagine that both the shift abilities on those 2 heroes are expended. So all they can do is walk into the Artillery.
Well, that SPG fan in the audience looking like he's going to have a good reason to celebrate here at the end of this all. A nigh impossible defense, a fuller hold, very necessary for the side of the Shanghai Dragons if they want to keep themselves in this lower bracket run. Otherwise, SPG, the contender squad, might be keeping their season alive.
Yep. They'll be going up against the Seoul Dynasty as well, so... I mean, that'll be 2 Overwatch League teams eliminated today, back-to-back. One of them was guaranteed because it was Charge versus Dynasty. This one is not guaranteed. I mean, just coming into this match, we were 2-2. Things were looking on the up for the Shanghai Dragons, but as we hit deeper into 66, it's a full hold and not a lot of distance. We're like barely past the first initial corner on A, so extremely well set up for SPG to finish this one off.
It feels like it's very much in their hands, and it would be a catastrophic failure to drop the ball and not be able to close this thing out. Viper right off the rip here with this Scorpion wanting to have that long forward hold. Although back over onto the Soldier 76.
She absolutely destroyed Shanghai on the Midtown.
Yeah.
The Soldier was able to get some crazy first picks. Not even a burst damage here unless you can land the helixes, but this is far too long range for that to be consistent.
Javelin through. Milgaru going to be knocked down to about a half HP. Still leading the charge, and you can see, although not really getting too much damage through quite just yet, just now. doubling up his ult charge, but still only at 17% compared to the likes of Age, who's currently at 61. But just get himself into this fighting position. And just go ahead, clear up that healing pylon, continues to push up towards Gangnam Jin. It bounces up into the sky now, although a bit surrounded. And with Wuchan there in tow, he ends up getting punished. The one paying the price. In the meantime, though, Matrix set up. MJ looking to force them back, keep them at an arm's length. Now Fate has to drop down and keep this card contested. Just a couple more meters left to go. 13. And that's SPG taking away this series win. Although jumped on, Immortality Field forced off the back of Big Earls. Milkar skipping over, managing to grab that Mega Pack, keeps himself alive. Fate pushing forward. Trying to get that punish, trying to find the kill on the Kenji, but he does manage to stay elusive enough. Milgar in the meantime, pushing the card forward. Back cap nearly coming in, but Viper trying to play and keep it contested. He ends up getting blown to smithereens, and that's it. The 2 kills coming through. Hyunjae drops the C9 in chat. It might not be one. There's an earned win here for the side of SPG, but a very swift one at that as they close out here on Route 66 and eliminate the Shanghai Dragons.
I mean, it just starts badly when you have the trades coming on through. Was it Wuchan for Viper? Viper's got to come all the way from Defender spawn, and that's so far. He probably needed to go Soldier just to sprint back. Going over to Soldier, okay, he can slide in, but still waiting for the cooldown. 5v4 for a short moment there. But then as soon as Aid actually gets the Bastion Artillery, yeah, when you're going for the cap itself, that's one of the few times, like Terror Surge, like the Blizzard, the value of the ultimate suddenly goes up, and it's a 4C9. Hisu has to die on top of it. Like, whoever the soldier from Dragons was, that just has to explode their life on top of the payload. That's all you can do, and then no one else ended up going for it. Fate was dead, so as you mentioned, kind of a C9, but also kind of, you just won. You just simply beat the Dragons. That's all it was.
I don't think it was. That was just them getting outdone. Excellently handled here from the side of SPG, from the defense into the push itself. Not wasting any time, not taking any ridiculous fights that they didn't need to. That was just down to the T. Perfectly piloted overall for them there to go ahead and close out this series. For the side of the Dragons fans, a bittersweet end to this knockout bracket. Unable to come away with any wins. But although is going to be our player of the match, and by God that he earned this one here.
See it early on, it's the combination of the Tracer and the ball at the same time. You need some solid follow-up for the ball. You didn't even get to see it in that highlight, but there were moments when Although was just able to get onto the back. Whoever was power drived in, Although was there to clean up. And this map was what kind of made the difference from it. You see what the Soldier was able to do. And obviously here with the Blizzard as well, just finishing off the map. This is the final Blizzard to basically send the Dragons out of Midtown. But so much of the Soldier gameplay came to them opening picks consistently on Midtown.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what he did, you know, all of the heroes that we saw, all the play throughout this, the May, the Tracer, etc., they were all very, very clean. Just getting the fade away, that's the double kill and the pulse that he had earlier on. Just a fantastic player through and through. And very much helps get SPG this well-earned, well-deserved victory. Continue onward, now face off against the Dynasty.
And honestly, I think Dragons did much better here because they changed up their comms, they modernized their strategy based on where the current meta is. However, it's still this team of SPG that has more to show, more to play through. The fact that they can make ball work, not on just one map, multiple maps. And consistently now on Flashpoint, where they're proving that ball is extremely good on Flashpoint. Maybe I'm possibly just Milgaru ball pilled, but they'll have to see if it works versus Dynasty, because I missed out on this play when I talked about Fate and Gaga in this pool, but yeah, Ballas Rhea, aka Ballas Rhea, is on the other side of that as well, so there is that to contend with a little bit later on.
I was just about to mention that. Perhaps we can get that head-to-head. We'll have to just wait and see for that matchup later on, but for now, let's go ahead and send it over. Unknown is standing by with Aid for an interview.
안녕하세요.
Hello, Aid.
또다시 만나게 된 상하이를 상대로 승리를 차지하셨습니다. 승리 소감 먼저 들어볼게요.
You met the Dragons again in quick succession to win again. How do you feel?
쉽게 이길 것 같았는데 3대 2로 이기게 되어서 더 이제 3대 0으로 이겼을 때보다 기분이 더 좋은 것 같아요.
Well, I mean, initially I was a little bit disappointed because we didn't get the 3-0, but hey, going all the distance and going 3-2 actually feels good.
킹볼을 기용해서 성공적으로 들고 오셨습니다. 그렇지만 상대 팀에서 분명히 SPG의 레킹볼에 대한 조합에 대해서 많이 연구를 해왔을 텐데도 그럼에도 불구하고 잘 드러나는
So
원인이
today
뭐라고
we saw a lot of
생각하시나요?
the wrecking ball composition from
저희가
SPG.
이제 원래는
I think Dragons would
레킹볼에
probably been
소금을 썼지만
expecting
저희가
this and
이제
preparing for this. What's your
대회
opinion on
두 번째
how
끝나고
or
이제
why this worked?
뭐냐 안 좋았던 점들을 이제 보완을 하면서 바스티온을 바꾸고 또 새로운 전략을 짰기 때문에 잘 통했다고 생각합니다.
It's basically the same composition, but we played it really differently. For example, we had a little bit of different DPS choices, and also we kind of approached our maneuvering or positioning very differently. So even though if it's the same comp, it was a different strategy overall, and probably they wouldn't have been prepared for this.
얼마나 됐는지가 궁금해요.
Just a little bit of a extra question. How long or how much have you been practicing this composition?
연습해 왔기 때문에 한 1주에서 2주 정도는 우리 사로 좀 많이 연습했어서 이런 결과가 나왔다고 생각합니다.
So for the past week or two, we've not only been just preparing for this specific composition, but also composition with the Orisa as well. So we were adequately prepared. So that wasn't really much of a long time to kind of practice very fine details of a strategy. Would you say that the chemistry between the players are so good that even with a short preparation period that your strategies like worked out? I think everyone, not only just about the chemistry, but everyone understands thoroughly about what they need to do in that composition. So I think that's the secret behind it.
예, 친동생이라 이제 앞에서 막 잘했다고.
So you're also
막
Miyukaru's
하고 있다고.
actual family, like your bigger brother. So do you have anything to say to him? Well, I mean, I just want to say good job.
내 경기가 간절할 것 같은 SPG입니다. 왜냐면 지면 이제 끝난다고 봐도 무색하기 때문인데요. 앞으로에 대한 각오 마지막으로
So,
부탁드리겠습니다.
stakes are really high because one misstep and you get eliminated from the bracket. Do you have any resolves or goals coming into the rest of the bracket?
앞으로 남은 경기들 엄청 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있을 거라고.
So we have nowhere to go back. So we'll do our best. We'll show you a performance that you and both I can be satisfied with. And that's the end of the interview. Back to you, Seth.
Well, thank you very much, Unknown, for the translation. I just learned something new. I did not know that he was brothers with Milgaro. It's not something that you get to see too often, brothers playing together. But it's very heartwarming that they can share in that victory. I mean, I can think of two other brothers that play on a certain esport together, and their season wasn't nearly as good as SPG's. But anyway, let's take a look back at the results from today. As we can see, Dreamers walking away, taking down Panthera, Pokerface, demolishing Rhodes, frankly, with that 3-0. The Dynasty able to stay alive, and now they get to square off against SPG, who honestly look like they're up to task to become the Owl Slayers.
It might just be the case. I mean, SPG have done it before. I think this might actually be the third time they've beaten the Dragons, and no matter how many times Dragons get the rematch, they just can't take it over SPG. At minimum, SPG, or at least the Shanghai Slayers at this stage, as it's our second team from the Overwatch League knocked out of knockouts, but like the Charged Dragons still have one more shot. They can still enter the play-ins, as all Overwatch League teams that failed to make it through the playoffs will enter, in which one more slot will be available for the region to get to playoffs from the play-ins forward, but we are not done with the knockouts yet.
Certainly not, but I mean, hey, not to make the Dynasty fans panic too much, but transitive property, if SPG can take down the Dragons, they might be able to beat the Dynasty as well. We'll take a look back at the brackets, though, and see where they lay, as it's going to be some contenders cannibalization down there in that lower bracket, as Dreamers have to take on Pokerface in an elimination matchup, and Fuel versus Spark to see who's going to be sticking around in that upper bracket.
I think this is a really, pretty sure we had this matchup in spring as well, where Dreamers ended up beating Pokerface. And Dreamers got into the grand finals, like making their way through the lower bracket. They're looking to make that dream happen again, as they're one of the few contenders teams that actually has a true legitimate pathway into playoffs. And in bracket B, still two Overwatch League teams left. Infernal, who are looking extremely good as usual, as you'd expect, but versus a very upstart O2 Blast, who after a bit of a sloppy start to their summer stage where things didn't look too good after they had their roster teared apart, they're looking much better now, rejuvenated in a fresh meta.
I mean, O2 Blast, you can't expect them to be off the meta, off the game for too long. It's been such a consistent organization in the contender scene out here in Korea, so it makes sense that they found their way. They found their footing a bit more, but we'll see, though, because, I mean, we were really excited for that matchup the last time it came around, the first time it came around with Infernal versus O2. And it wasn't quite the giga banger that we were hoping for. So maybe this time that one will deliver. We'll have to just wait and see. But Dynasty definitely got to be sweating a bit. We're teeing it up. Maybe we'll get to see that Bolosria coming out versus Milgaru, have that big head-to-head clash. Or maybe we'll get some more Void, which, of course, the fans are going to be very happy with either way. But this is going to be the schedule here for tomorrow. Spark v Fuel, Poker Face v Dreamers, O2 Blast v Infernal, Sin Prisa, I want to say Spear for some reason, SPG versus Dynasty to go ahead and round out the evening and see who the final teams are going to be on both sides of the bracket. It's an absolutely stacked day of matches tomorrow that you guys do not want to miss.
I mean, Fuel versus Spark is an absolute insane matchup, so that is an exciting one to kick things off, as it's a massive clash of styles. Two of the teams that we've had at the top for so long, and beyond that, Spark they got a bit of a streak versus Fuel at the moment, if I believe correctly, because this has been one of the few teams that Fuel have actually struggled against.
Yeah, I mean, work cut out for them now, but this is where it matters the most. Keep yourself in that upper bracket. Keep yourself alive, give yourself that fighting chance to just go ahead and make it through the easy way. Otherwise, I mean, obviously, you don't want to be down in the trenches. You don't want to be where Sin Prisa, where Dynasty are. You want to be having that little buffer zone between you and the other teams that just gives you that much more comfortability riding forward, trying to make your way out of this knockout bracket. But anything could happen. Already some surprises here today. Sin Prisa certainly catching me by surprise. And even though he didn't win it, I'd say Milgaru, for me personally, player of the day, because the guy, I didn't know much about him coming into this one. Absolutely surprised the ever-loving hell out of me. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing him play again tomorrow.
And you learned about him in and out of game in terms of all the lore and also the mechanics and all that. So it's a fun team to root for. And can't wait to see how he goes up against Balestri or Void next week, as we still have plenty of games to get through next week or tomorrow, actually. So
tomorrow.
Sorry, my mind is already way into the future. It's actually not going to take very long to get there at all. Tomorrow, as it'll be a short turnaround for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be chomping at the bit to watch those games and also to get to cast a handful of them. So luckily for us, we don't have to wait too long to get back into it. Because again, for me, it's been a very long time away from Overwatch League. It's great to be back. And honestly, this was just a fantastic way to come back into it with some really excellent games. And of course, that 5-mapper to round it out. So perhaps we can get some more of that tomorrow. See some more Escort. Obviously your favorite map type. Maybe the teams can deliver on it. I think that the head-to-heads that we have right now between all the squads very much deserves it. So maybe we'll just have a nice long evening to round out the weekend.
Hopefully some good games as we get into the real business side of the season now, and no matter what, looking for the 2 best teams, the 3 best teams actually. We're sending 3 teams to Toronto. And I think of the Overwatch League teams between Dallas, Hangzhou, and Infernal, I mean, they all look insane. All 3 of them look fantastic. They would be my 3 front runners so far. Everyone else is seemingly a little bit further behind. Only Dreamers, I believe, possibly O2 Blast, but I think pretty much just Dreamers have the capability from the contender side to maybe make it through. But it seems like Dallas and Hangzhou are on their own level right now. We'll see if that comes true tomorrow in terms of how close that game is going to be. As Dallas look possibly like the best team, but Hangzhou have somehow always had their number.
We'll have to just wait and see if that is going to be the case, but that's going to round it out for us here this evening. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Of course, NA is going to be coming up later and all that good stuff. But we have more matches tomorrow. Stacked schedule, so make sure you guys tune in. We'll see you then.